Tip of the rising sun, everyone. Tip of the rising sun. This is your boy Immanuel Kant saying tip of the rising sun. Grand rising to all. What we're going to do today is that chapter 4 conclusion. So then that way everybody can go ahead and get done with their process on that portion of it. So with that being, I want everybody to make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to all your friends. And remember that we do this because I choose to. You do this because you choose to. This is for entertainment and informational purposes only. So what we're doing today is we're going to go ahead and take a stroll around Lake Erie for a little while and see what everybody has going on while we do this gentle reading. All right. So what y'all see here is Lake Erie. And we're going to go ahead and take a walk. Not the cultural garden today. We're going to do the Lake Erie. All right. So with that being, okay, everybody, let me go ahead and get one of those left palm up, right palm down. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask that you watch over us, protect us, guide us in our journey so that we may be able to understand and overstand the things that you are about to implant and embed in our memory and in our minds, so that as we go and walk through our journey, we will be able to stand on our square and be able to understand and know why we're doing the things that we are doing. In the Almighty High's name, one heart, one soul, one mind, one goal. Okay, everybody. With that being, we're going to go ahead and get started. The process is as follows. After selecting Begin Application Now, the first step or the first set of options given is the entity selection. The correct entity to choose is the estate. People are led to believe the estate is only chosen upon a loved one's death in an attempt to settle their financial affairs. According to the IRS, these are two kinds of taxes owed by an estate. First, on the transfer of assets from the decedent to their beneficiaries and heirs, the estate tax, and second, on income generated by the assets of the decedent's estate, the income tax. When someone passes away, their assets become the property of their estate. All income generated by the assets is part of the estate and may cause the filing of an estate tax return. The decedent's estate may generate assets, including but not limited to savings accounts, CDs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and rental property. IRS Form 1041, U.S. Income Tax Return for Estates and Trusts, is required if the estate generates more than $600 in annual gross income. Interestingly, the estate number can be used for much more than a death benefit. It is a 9-digit number like any social SSN, ITIN, or business EIN, also known as a credit profile number. It can be used to access high limits of corporate credit. This is a necessary skill to learn, as the Social Security number and ITIN are surrendered and abandoned going forward, except if the applicant wishes to finance real estate and obtain a mortgage to convey the property to a trust. It should be noted that an inactive SSN becomes on par with a dissolved corporation after 3 years. To continue to use the public insurance bond, SSN, ITIN, in the form of credit cards, cell phone contracts, auto loans, all insurance accounts, or bank accounts, knowing that nationals are not U.S. citizens would be counterproductive accepting the United States benefits and privileges. Therefore, it is recommended to use the foreign estate credit profile as a replacement to the SSN ITIN in the same name, and only maintain installment credit accounts in the SSN ITIN credit profile rather than revolving accounts, for the sole purpose of obtaining a mortgage, which is optional. The trust will protect the assets and the applicant's commercial status to remain a national but not a U.S. citizen. In continuing with the online estate application, after selecting an estate, the next page requires the applicant to confirm that his selection and the IRS provides a little more information as to what an estate is. One key component that the IRS points out is that the estate consists of the deceased person's real and personal property. Remember, the United States and the IRS are referring to the 14th Amendment fictitious entity, previously mentioned during the explanation of the Cestui v. Act of 1666. This entity is a corpse, a corporation on paper only. The personal property that the applicant is taking control of is the corporate public insurance bond, backed by the certificate of birth. To verify one of the estate's security accounts, perform a Google search, Treasury Direct calculator, and select treasurydirect.gov/BC/SBC price. Inside of the savings bond calculator, under series, select EE bonds. Under denomination, select $10,000. Under bond serial number, enter the birth certificate number or driver's license, passport number, or SSN/ITIN. And lastly, under issue date, enter the correct issue date and year of the security chosen. The results will populate the bond's interest and value, and there are many bonds in the name of the birth certificate. The application's next page requires the applicant to provide information about the deceased corporation, the applicant's first, middle, and last name, all caps, including any suffix that matches the Social Security card and birth certificate. It may be shocking to know that the estate contains trust fund money logged into accounts where the registrar first created the 14th Amendment person. The funds are held within the county CAFR, Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, and the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation. Many corporations worldwide use the labor of U.S. citizens as collateral for the corporation's taxes, dues, and liabilities. For example, many Americans are familiar with the $13.4 billion, the 2008 General Motors bailouts, causing all taxpayers to pay General Motors debt. This is why all U.S. citizens and legacy corporations are listed as human capital on the NASDAQ. Only corporations can settle another corporation's debt, and the 14th Amendment fictitious corporation is doing just that. To see evidence of the many corporations doing business in an illegal U.S. citizen's name, simply go to www.gmeiutility.org. Click on the search icon and enter the Social Security number with dashes. All of the companies and trust companies revealed are doing business in the name of the U.S. citizen's fictitious corporate name and holding them accountable for all debts, liabilities, and losses. To remove oneself from this immense level of fraud, claiming the estate is paramount and must be completed with the 9A Foreign Tax Identification Number. Owning the estate's assets. A foreign trust is similar to a holding company, or les pendens, otherwise known as a notice of pendency, alerting the world that the trust has a lien via the non-UCC filing on the estate. The applicant should enter their name in the EIN application in the all capital letter format. Christopher in the first name box, Alexander family of in the middle name box, and Wellington in the last name box. Select junior, senior, etc. if applicable. And lastly, enter the applicant's SSN/ITIN. The following page requires information about the executor, administrator, personal representative. If the principal person is processing this application, then the executor is the proper selection. In the upper and lowercase format, enter Christopher in the first name box, Alexander in the middle name box, and Wellington in the last name box. Enter the SSN/ITIN again and select Executor as the fiduciary title. The last question on this page must confirm the identity of the one completing this application. Again, if the principal person is completing this application, then there is no third party or power of attorney to be listed. Therefore, the first selection applies. I am the executor, administrator, or the personal representative of this estate. On the contrary, if another person, such as a third party or delegated executor, their information, including SSN/ITIN, will be required. The next page asks for the applicant to provide a valid mailing address. According to the UCC 9-307, paragraph B, debtor's location, section 2, a debtor is an organization and has only one place of business located at its place of business. Therefore, it is necessary to use a private mailing address that is separate from where the principal applicant rests regularly and cannot be a United States postal mailbox. The correct address would be the origin of the 14th Amendment fictitious entity created by the registrar at the county office of the county courthouse headquarters. Mr. Wellington was born in Los Angeles, California. Per the Los Angeles County government, the registrar, recorder, county clerk office is located at 12400 Imperial Highway, Norwalk, California, 90650. And the Los Angeles County Superior Court is 111 North Hill Street, room 204, Los Angeles, California, 90012. Since Mr. Wellington provided the county courthouse address as the debtor residence on the non-UCC filing, the registrar address would suffice on the estate application. The birth certificate was the first security created to bring about the in legis. On the next page, the applicant must provide information regarding the origins of where the estate is probated. Probate court always deals with equity matters, sometimes referred to as Chancery Court or the King's Court. It allows the government to determine what is their property and what is not. The applicant's trust fund and or inheritance held within probate and the county courts have the records of what assets are descendable. This is why upon death and in the absence of a will or trust, the local county assumes all of the decedent's property, further administering the estate assets in their 14th Amendment trust. Simply provide the county of the applicant's birthplace in the first box in the all capital letter format. Mr. Wellington would provide Los Angeles, the county where the estate is probated, California, state territory where estate is probated, August 1999, date estate created, funded, probated. Note, the year cannot be more than 25 years from the current year. Why? As previously stated, the 14th Amendment fictitious entity was created within the 14th Amendment trust itself, such as a corporate trust, which is perpetual and is governed under statutes and codes. Any trust that provides a specific amount of years, up to 20 to 25 years, is automatically considered an express trust and is governed under equity law. The IRS is seeking to find out if the estate is under equity law or statutory law. Mr. Wellington is 22 years old, born in 1999, and the current year is 2021. If the applicant is older than 25 years of age, take the difference of 24 years from the current year, which will be the maximum date allowed. And December is the closing month of the accounting year. The applicant's following page asks if the applicant will have or expect any employees in the next 12 months. At this time, the correct answer is no. However, the estate could hire employees in the future as the application comes to an end. The applicant can receive their EIN confirmation letter online or via the mail. Selecting online is the fastest and most efficient option. The final page allows the applicant to verify and confirm everything is correct. Ooh, it's getting kind of windy down here. I'm gonna bag on up. The applicant should see the legal name as Christopher Alexander, family of Wellington Estate. This is in all caps. This is the correct format upon accepting the estate's confirmation. The applicant should receive the first stage of a domestic estate number. It is wise to save the PDF IRS form CP-575 and make copies for safekeeping. Now that the SSN ITIN has its estate, the applicant should have a 9-digit number encoded as its domestic estate. The second part of the two-step process is converting the domestic estate into a foreign estate by way of IRS Form 8832, Entity Classification Election. Filing the 2-page form is as follows. Name of eligible entity making election, all caps name Christopher Alexander, family of Wellington Estate. Employer identification number, 85-whichever, domestic estate. Number, street and room or suite number. If a PO box, see instructions, 12400 Imperial Highway, registrar address. City or town, state and zip code, Norwalk, California, 90650. Part 1, Section 1. Type of election. A. Initial classification by a newly formed entity. Skip lines 2A and 2B and go to line 3. Section 3. Does the eligible entity have more than one owner? No. You can elect to be classified as an association, taxable as a corporation, or disregarded as a separate entity. Go to line 4. Section 4. If the eligible entity has only one owner, provide the following information. A. Name of owner. Heinz Wolfgang Express Trust. Identified number of owner, 98- your number. Section 5. If the eligible entity is owned by one or more affiliated corporations that file a consolidated return, provide the name and employer identification number of the parent corporation. A, NA, B, NA. Section C. Type of entity. F, a foreign eligible entity with a single owner, electing to be disregarded as a separate entity. Section 7. If the eligible entity is created or organized in a foreign jurisdiction, provide the foreign country of organization. Amsterdam. Section 8. Election is to be effective beginning month, day, year. Today's date. Section 9. Name and title of contact person whom the IRS may call for more information. Ahmed El Bin, TTEE. Section 10. Contact person's telephone number, the office number. Consent statement and signature. Provide 2 signatures 2 dates and the titles of each signature. The first should be the executor's print name, today's date, their title as executor, and signature. The second should be the trustee of the foreign trust, Ahmed El Bin or Christopher Oliver, or L, print name, today's date, their title as beneficial owner, and signature. The completion of IRS Form 8832 finalizes the conversion of the SSN ITIN from domestic to a foreign estate. The estate is now under the jurisdiction of the 9-8 Foreign Express Trust. Depending on the state the applicant is filing from, will determine whether IRS Form 8832 should be sent to Kansas City, Missouri, or Ogden, Utah. See the instructions page provided with the 8832 form. The IRS may reply with the correspondence stating that the applicant's arguments were found frivolous. If such a letter is received, don't panic. The applicant did nothing wrong. It is merely because the IRS has a specific quota of how many 9-8 foreign tax identification numbers can be issued in 3 months, and how many estate reclassifications can be allowed under a foreign jurisdiction. A frivolous correspondence is just the Internal Revenue Service's funny way of saying they can't complete the applicant's request at the moment. Simply resubmit IRS Form 8830 precisely as before, and the second attempt is certainly a guarantee. The approval letter will state important information about your Form 8832. We approved your Form 8832 entity classification election. We have approved your election as a foreign eligible entity with a single owner to be disregarded as a separate entity. The effective date of this election is month, day, year. The foreign trust will own all wages earned by the employee's estate and all earnings produced by any businesses in the jurisdiction of the foreign estate, foreign trust. Since the trust is on the zero file list, every other entity under its classification is also on the zero file list. This is how wealthy families preserve their wealth for generations. The United States debt is up 300% from $20.4 trillion in the year 2000 to $62.3 trillion in the year 2009, according to David Walker, the former U.S. Comptroller General, who served under 3 U.S. presidents. The national debt is the United States obligation, not the people, and it can be avoided. However, the people do play a part in the debt's existence. The process of tax avoidance is lawful, but tax evasion is illegal. Some tax code practitioners use other corporations, partnerships, or LLCs as holding companies for other businesses to preserve wealth or save on the amount of taxes due. However, this method will promote slight savings, but taxes are still due, anywhere from 15% to 20% per Internal Revenue Codes 541 to 547. In the recent example, the employee, Christopher Alexander Wellington, is employed with Target Incorporated in California. He has completed the estate conversion under his trust name, the Heinz Wolfgang Express Trust, which both entities are now in the 0% tax bracket. Mr. Wellington can now update his tax reporting information in one of 2 ways. The first option is by remaining an employee with Target Incorporated and filing the 2020 IRS Form W-4 with his SSN or ITIN manually write exempt in Step 4, Section C, to claim federal tax exemption from withholding, and also manually write exempt in Section 3 of California's 2020 Employee Withholding Allowances Certificate regarding state tax exemption. Social Security and Medicare taxes will continue to be withdrawn from Mr. Wellington's paycheck until the Human Resources Department at Target Incorporated receives a statement from the trustee of the 9(8) foreign trusts. This statement is the IRS Form 4029, application for exemption from Social Security and Medicare taxes and waiver of benefits. This exemption is only granted if the IRS finalizes and returns a copy to Mr. Wellington approved to forward to his employer. Part 1 of the application requires the applicant name, Social Security number, address, and date of birth. Box 5, check, do not send me my Social Security statement. This form works in correlation to the 9(8) foreign trust being described as a religious group. The applicant will complete the following sentence in Part 1 as, I certify that I am and continuously have been a member of the Heinz Wolfgang Express Trust, which is the name of a religious group. Treaty of Marrakesh 1012, J.S. Amsterdam, Netherlands. Foreign district or congregation address. Since, month, day, year. And as a follower of the established teachings of the group, I am consciously opposed to accepting benefits of any private or public insurance that makes payments in the event of death, disability, old age, or retirement. Or makes payments for the cost of medical care or provides services for medical care. Public insurance includes any insurance system established by the Social Security Act. Part 2 of the application must be completed by the trustee or authorized representative hired by the trustee to certify the above statements. Mr. Wellington must make 2 copies of the original IRS Form 4029 and mail all 3 copies, including a W-9 with the foreign 9(8) foreign tax identification number, the recorded declaration of express trust, which provides information about the foreign sole trustee as the holder of all estate assets to Social Security Administration, Security Records Branch. Attention, Religious Exemption Unit. P.O. Box 7, Boyers, Pennsylvania, 16020. Information regarding the Express Trust will be provided in the upcoming chapters. Once the SSA department approves their portion of the application, they will forward the necessary copies to the IRS for final approval, to which Mr. Wellington will receive proper notice to deliver to his employer. All Medicare and Social Security taxes will cease from this point on. Treaty law is the supreme law of the land. The Express Trust operates fully in conjunction with the several treaties connected with the United States dating back to the corporation's beginning. The updated W-4, DE-4, and IRS Form 4029 are only necessary if the employer refuses to accept to pay Mr. Wellington earnings as an independent contractor. Using IRS forms W-9 with the foreign EIN estate.
There's a baby somewhere.
In the meantime, Mr. Wellington would like to start a pet grooming business in California. Most advisors would advise him to move to a more tax-friendly state like Nevada due to the high annual state tax of $800 in California. The $800 tax is mandatory no matter if the business has earned 1 cent. It is a privilege tax to do business in California. However, most advisors do not know Mr. Wellington is in the zero file list, and all he has to do is exercise his valid determination letters with the state. It is necessary to determine what type of entity would best serve his nature to begin a California business. Any business entity selected as a corporation, limited liability company, limited partnership, general partnership, limited liability partnership, or sole proprietorship will need a business employer identification number. The objective is to generate as much money as possible with any business plan and reduce the amount of taxes owed to 0% from its inception by reclassifying the entity to a foreign entity under the jurisdiction of the 9(8) Foreign Trust. For example, Mr. Wellington will use a general partnership for a dog grooming business, which will consist of two partners, his fiancée as the co-partner and himself as the general partner. According to California Corporations Code, Title 3, Section 1, Section 18035, Paragraph A, unincorporated association means an unincorporated group of two or more persons joined by a mutual consent for a All right, y'all. Seeing that I'm running out of space, what I'm going to do is we're going to close out right here, and then I'm going to go ahead and we'll finish up chapter 4 tomorrow. We're pretty much almost done, though. Got about another 20 pages. With that being, one heart, one soul, one mind, one goal. Don't forget, like